Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me call to the podium the president of the Dominican American National Roundtable, Dr. Maria, let me say that in Spanish, Maria Teresa Feliciano, right? And she will be delivering the keynote address on the state of Dominicans in the United States. Please welcome Dr. Feliciano, president of the Dominican American National Roundtable.
A sense of humor should never leave us. Ambassador Raúl Izaguirre, President Ricardo Fernández, Senior Vice Chancellor Jay Hutcherson, Senators Gustavo Rivera, Juan Pichardo, y Rubén Díaz, Bronxboro President Rubén Díaz Jr., Representatives Marcos Devers and Jocelyn Peña Melnick, Assemblyman Guillermo Linares, Keith Wright, and Carl Hasty, Councilman Robert Jackson, Julio Tavares, and Julio Guridi, Councilwomen Julissa Ferreras, Commissioner Wendy Guzman, and Alex Mendez, distinguished Board of Directors, Chairman Nestor Montilla, Dr. Dilcia Granville, Francesca Peña, Youth National President Amaris Guzman, Dr. Julia Lara, Miguel Santana, and Luis Facundo, Dr. Ramon Antonio Veras, distinguished panelists and speakers, corporate partners, Dominican and Latino leadership of the United States, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, and Latinos and other leaders who have convened here the 14th Annual Summit of the Dominican American National Roundtable in the National Council. It is a great pleasure for me to be among you today, as it is, I think, an exciting time to be a Latino, to be Dominican in the United States. Major events and changes are happening in the world today, in the United States as part of that world also, that will change the way we live, raise our families, and do business. We are, by our presence and contributions, in the middle of it all. The changing market, the economic crisis, global and continental conflicts, changes in governments, legal, social, and scientific breakthroughs. We, as small in numbers as we might seem in comparison with whole countries or other groups, are here in the world's capital and surrounding states, working, learning, living, leaving our mark. The US Census 2010 said Dominicans are 1.4 million. We all know that's 2 million. 300,000 and more in the Bronx alone. Among those with an interest in the political implications of population growth, the question for 2010 is the same as it was for the 90s and that of the 80s. When will the decade of Latinos finally arrive? Or when will Latinos begin to have something close to the political power seemingly inherent in their rapidly growing numbers? Having made our presence felt and having laid the groundwork as the summit theme reads education, economic development, and community empowerment, I think we're moving forward towards expanding and perfecting our role in this society. These three areas are to be perfected if we are to achieve success as a group, and I venture to say they must proceed forward in unison. The first and most important, which being said, is education. Our children cannot be among the top percentage of school desertion. They must enter and complete college. We must and can be among the educated and educators in institutions of higher learning. We must be part of the administration of these institutions. We must be among the scientists, inventors, writers, astronauts, legal minds, artists, mathematicians, and financiers who with their daily work make invaluable contributions to society. The second is economic development. We can and must be at the high, medium, and low spheres of the financial world. The number of Latino-owned businesses in the United States has continued to rise dramatically, and Latinos now have a buying power of over $650 billion. Dominicans continue to dominate in ownership and operation of the small businesses where they concentrate and are beginning to make inroads in major corporations, banking, and Wall Street. True economic development has to reach our small business owners and entrepreneurs as well as Dominicans on Wall Street. The third is community empowerment. Along with getting and the education trained to success and developing our potential in the world of finance and business, we must achieve inclusion in the government of this great nation we have adopted as ours, in the political establishment that designs and decides all aspects of our lives, that our voice can be heard where laws are passed and changed, budgets are submitted and approved, and policies are created. Two tools, I think, can be used in our efforts for empowerment. One, the current redistricting process, which affords us the opportunity to create the conditions for electing Dominicans at the municipal, state, and federal levels, submitting and requesting approval for maps of city council, assembly, senate, and Congress that reflect the growth of our population is one basic step we're taking towards true inclusion. Coupled with success in the current redistricting process, the National Dominican American Council launches today Uno más Uno, Mi Voto Cuenta, a national voter registration drive that will register 300,000 new voters by the presidential election 2012. There are Dominicans in the 435 congressional districts in the United States, and they will be felt next November. Creating coalition is the second most important step in our journey to empowerment as we acquire greater strength in U.S. politics. Coalitional politics through compromise has been one of the most effective strategies for empowerment. Fortunately, it seems to be welcomed by the political mood of a new generation of Latino and other leaders who are prepared to coalesce. Leaders like the National Dominican American Council members here today from Puerto Rico. Where are you from Puerto Rico? From Florida, from Washington, D.C., from Maryland, from Massachusetts, from Rhode Island, from Pennsylvania, from New Jersey, from New York, like our fellows, our DANR fellows going through our program every year. Please stand and be recognized, our fellows, Nayeli Martinez, Rafaela Zapata, Paola Martinez, Genesis Aquino, Priscilla Peral, and Nathaniel Taveras, under the direction of Elias Alcantara and Amaris Guzman. May the next decade find us laboring hard and succeeding in these areas, that the U.S. Census 2010 may reflect more than how large our population is, a profile of what we have become. Thank you.